Welcome to the Fast Track Listening Program. The ideas presented here are intended to assist in developing a strong and profitable business for IBOs, powered by Amway and affiliated with Marker Man Productions. Enjoy the following message.
Well, this will be a little more relaxed, a little different than the first piece, and we're going to get to tell you a little bit about our journey, and we just had a great time. You know, has there been times that were goopy? Sure, but you know what? For us, we initially started for $500 to $1,000 a month. That was it. I didn't want to. I was a police officer and was with Customs, Revenue Canada. She was in the drug interdiction unit. She had, the dogs sniffing you, and she would tell you to take your clothes off, and you'd have to sit in a room for 28 hours, So you just got to picture what Ann did.
Somebody's got to do it.
And she was good at it. Yeah. You know what? But at some point, we saw way more than just a vehicle to make a couple $100 extra. You come to a couple little things like this and you go, I just wanted to make a couple $100, like show me the money. But there's more to this crazy Plan B MMP arena than you could ever imagine. It's the intangibles, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
So we just want to give you a bit of our journey, where we came from, some of what we've done. We've been involved for several years. I don't want to say it all because I'm really 35. I take a lot of double X, but no, 20 years. We've been involved, is it 20 years or 19? Can it be 19 for tonight? Yeah, 18. Yeah. Anyways, about 3 years less than Gary and Kim. Gary and Kim were just awesome instruments in helping us get going. But, we'll just give you a bit of where we came from, what we've been through, some of that goop and some of the fun stuff, and where we're going, what we see for all of you, and what kind of fun Ann and I have had along the way as a couple working together. At this point, initially that just wasn't it. But Ann will start telling you just where we came from.
Okay, sure.
Yes.
So we came from East York, Ontario, Canada.
That's it.
And that's where we were living when we were shown the plan. And it was interesting because we were living in the city, which is a great place to live, but it wasn't like a dream house. But it was great because we had come from the country and wanted to be right in the thick of things, so I could see this guy more and he could see our family more. And I was on like an extended maternity leave because when we got married and when I was pregnant, Will said, yeah, you know what, you're not going to have to go back to work. But we still really weren't sure how that was going to happen. At that point, I was just like hoping that something would happen. And I mean, I took in kids, like Kim and Gary said. I thought, you know what, I got a few kids. What's a few more? When you have a house full of kids, a couple more doesn't really make a difference. So
I agree, because I was gone most of the day, so it was great.
And he was, yeah. But that's where we were at. We were 30-something. And we thought, you know what, we need to do something more, but we weren't really sure. And we were having a good time. We had a good time in our careers, but things change, right? Like for the younger people here, don't ever think that everything's, just going to be the same or okay. Always look towards the future and possibilities, because that's, I think, something that I could advise. We have many times thought, yeah, things will work out or things will be great, but we didn't really have a plan. So when we saw this, it was like, all right, something that actually can provide us the things that we wanted. And because we both were dreamers. We both wanted stuff. So go ahead. I want to say something.
It's kind of, okay, the future's going to go, but we just kept thinking, let's just work harder. Does anyone identify with that? Let's just keep working harder, keep working longer, keep doing extra. That's trading time for money. That's all we knew. My dad was a contractor. Ann's dad worked at Ford. Both our parents, all four of them, worked hard. Just worked hard, lots of kids, And that's the genre we grew up in, trading time for money. I had no idea that there could be some compound effect. There could be this thing called duplication. I had no idea that. Nobody in my family, my association, made a six-figure income. Most people had one car and it was rusty. You know, that was just kind of where I grew up. Of course, she had a nice shiny Ford all the time because her dad worked at Ford, you know. But, you know, so we were kind of those guys who just kept working hard. And then it was kind of, don't worry, honey, you'll be able to stay home. Well, you know what? After extended maternity leave for the second time, you do have to go back to work. And Ann was like, I love and appreciate you, Will. And she would never be nasty, but you know what? It wasn't looking like my policing income was going to be able to keep her home. That was the bottom line. That's what we were looking. I had just finished a big case. You may know it with that time. This, you know, it's a little bit of an older case, the Paul Bernardo case. Carla Homoka was one of the investigators on that, and Gary had actually worked on it as well. You know, and I just finished that, and I had my career was good, but they weren't going to pay me the money that, you know, that I needed to live in Toronto to do the things that we wanted to do. So we were looking. I wasn't looking to get rid of my career because I wanted to be a policeman. Like my mom's got pictures of me like shooting people with bananas and stuff, and I had a Detect TOV badge, T-O-V, right? A little badge I'd made up with like construction paper, yellow construction paper, and you know, I wanted to be a policeman, and I was. So I wasn't looking to get rid of it, right? Maybe you aren't looking to get rid of your job, but you want extras. You can't get doing what you're doing. That was us. Right? We just couldn't do the things that Ann and I wanted to do and have the little things, those vacation things, you know. We would drive to Florida. And that was fun, right? We rented a Suburban, we rented a house, right? He's sitting right over there and going, yeah, it was great. You know, it was, but it would have been even cooler if we flew. Well, you know what? Through this business, we did fly last year to Disney, all the kids. That was awesome. I'm telling you, you do this thing and you stay consistent. So you know what? Ann and I were going, okay, we're happy, but we need to think about the future, and we were starting to look, right?
Plan more.
Plan more. Think about that, you know. How can we get those things that we really want? So, you know, one day, just to show you how I got started, I don't know if anyone else has prospected you since you've got started. Probably not. So the person that you're working with is the one you were supposed to, right? Got it all planned out. Don't worry about it. Just get going. Just get doing it. Don't worry about all that other stuff, right? So we're thinking about it. What are we going to do? We don't know. We don't have enough money to invest in something traditional. I have no extra time. Ann's looking after kids extra, right? I can't work for my dad. He's passed away. I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? How am I going to make extra? I was working every single hour I possibly could. I was working overtime, doing those pay duties, directing traffic. Well, I'd be doing 12-hour movie pay duties, because you could get 12-hour ones back then. And Ann would show up like with a mug of coffee for me and treats, and I like donuts. She would show up with that. The kids would be in the car. Hey, how's Daddy doing? Right? And I'd be working like, you know, freezing my butt off, directing traffic for some movie guy, making a bit of extra money. But I was never home. So we were thinking, and here's what happened. I'm sitting in church. And I'm just sitting there, and some dude comes and sits behind me who's like 20 years older than me. He was 60.
Almost 60.
And he's got a tie that's got Mickey Mouse or money bags, the money bags on it, right? So I turn around and I go, oh, hi. Hey, that's an interesting tie to wear to church. You know? I don't know why on earth I thought I should say that, but I did. However, everything for a reason. So he goes, yeah, it's pretty cool, isn't it? And I'm like, oh, well, I suppose, if you like that. And anyways, I said, why would you be wearing that? He says, well, I got it from my daughter-in-law. I have to kind of wear it because we're going over to see them for dinner. And I said, oh, why would she get you that? He says, well, I got a business on the side. He's doing really well. Now, I knew he was an executive for the Bay. Big shot. Already had a nice car. Everything paid off as far as I knew. Right, doing well, and he had something on the side. I'm like, Ann and I are looking. I'm sitting down there minding my own business. This dude with a money bags tie sits behind me, in the pew behind me, right with a money bags tie on, and he says, I got something going on the side. I said, I don't know if this ever happened to you. I said, oh, Taste, do you have any room for a guy like me? I don't know if any of your IBOs have ever asked you that. That was me. So I go, hey, do you got any room for a guy like me? I could tell, now thinking back, the look on his face was like, Pardon? You know, how does that happen? Anyways, he takes out this business card. I have no idea what it means, something enterprises. I go, cool. He goes, yeah, hey, you never know. I should give you a phone call. I said, awesome. I tell Ann, hey, man, this guy, Ron, this gonna happen. Right? And he goes, super awesome. Woohoo! I forgot about it. I go back 5 at night to 3 in the morning. I go to work. I forgot about all this stuff. I put the card on my dresser. There's a lot of junk on my dresser. It's like that still. And it's like underneath papers. Yes, it's right. I'm fairly neat, but not there for some reason. Anyways, I get a phone call. I'm on day shift, and I'm tired. And I get a phone call, and he says, hi, it's Ron. What are you doing besides watching TV tonight? Hi, what are you doing besides watching TV tonight? I would use that line. Hi, what are you doing besides watching TV tonight? If it's somewhere around 7:30 and when you make the phone call, because you should be making phone calls because of your habits, right? And I'm like, I am watching TV. I don't want to do anything. And I don't really, you know what, he was interesting on that Sunday 2 weeks ago, but I don't really want to have him over. I know what he's going to ask me. And my spidey sense is like he's going to ask me something, like come over. And I'm like, nothing. He goes, hey, listen, why don't I drop over, show what I'm doing, and hey, maybe if there's a connection, we'll look at that further, right? Yeah. So he shows up. He lived just in Don Mills. We lived in East York. He shows up. He comes in. He doesn't say, hey, make sure you're there together, but Ann's got busy with the kids anyways. I sit down, and he starts to show me this thing. I have no clue what it is, and I look at it, and I'm not that interested. He goes, no, hey, no big deal. I said, I don't know. I was thinking traditional. If you show the plan to somebody who's like thinking not what you're showing them, they're probably thinking something else, don't worry about it. That's why we give people and pencil in a follow-up date and try and book a follow-up date and give them audios, give them something to take home, right? If you don't even have an audio, give them your shoe, right? You got to have a reason to get back to them. I'm serious, like, give them something. Stick something in there, sneak something in their car and phone them up and say, hey, did I leave that in your car? You got to get back to them. I'm telling you, follow up, follow through. It's not just follow-up's an event. Follow through is the process. Follow-up's the event, follow through is the process, right? And you got to go do that. So he goes, I go, thank you. I don't know if that's something for me. And I don't know exactly what her thought process was in the background. She can tell you about that. But I'll finish this part with this. He says, no big deal. Here's a couple audios and here's a book. I want you to listen to that and I'll reconnect with you. I said, I can't give you a date. I'm working crazy hours. I was going back on 5 at night till 3 in the morning for 7 days. Yeah, that was exciting. 5 at night till 3 in the morning for 7 days. Then you get 5 off, but you don't get 5 off because those 5 days are during the week and all the bad guys you arrest, you got to put in court. So you work 5 at night till 3 in the morning, you get home at 4 and you got to be back in court at 9. You think showing the plan's hard? Right? It depends what you love, though. Like, I didn't find that hard. Did I find that? The odd day I was tired, I loved it. Listen, I'm telling you, once you get the hang of this showing the plan, you're going to love that too. You're going to love when somebody says no, because that's one no closer to a yes. So, anyways, he puts the audios in the book, puts them on our piano. I have zero intention of looking at them. I say it, Ann says, what's that? I said, oh, he gave me some audios. Hey, maybe you can give me a listen, give me a Reader Digest version of them. That's what I said to Ann, right? I had zero intention. And that was that part.
So, yeah, well, I wasn't really interested because, like Will said, he was kind of thinking more like building fences or he's going to have them do something. We really weren't thinking that Ron was going to come over to show us both a business opportunity. So I was like, yeah, walking by, probably had a kid on the side. Oh, looks interesting, but didn't really see the plan. But Will did. He goes, listen to those and tell me what it's about. So I did. And then I remember I said to him, Will, this sounds really good. This is really interesting, this stuff. They're saying a lot of really good things on here. Maybe you should look at this a little bit more. And so that was really not a traditional way to show the plan. He got shown the plan. I listened to the CDs, but it all works, right? Nothing's perfect, but if they always say you can't show the wrong plan to the right person, right? So anyway, that's how that happened. And then Will ended up going to an info session, which was funny as well because, and I didn't attend. Ron didn't pick you up, but you just met him down there. And I'll let you tell them about that.
Well, we only had the one car, right? We had a beautiful Ford Taurus, two-tone, gray and rust. That's all we had. We lived in the city. I was taking the subway to work, and it was free, because if you wear your gun, you get done free with the expectation that if something... There's a reason. The expectation was if something happened, then you would jump into action, right? So that's what I was doing, right? Working those crazy hours, and Ann had the car because of the kids and taking care of the other kids, right? So anyways, he phones again. I wouldn't book a follow-up. Nope, listen, I'll get back to you. I remember saying that. I'll tell you what, I'll get back to you. I could just imagine what he was thinking, because I've been in that situation now, right? But remember, there's an art and there's a science to this business, right? You know, typically I hold on to the CD, hey, you're going to listen to it, and if they say no, I'm pretty much not going to. But I'll tell you what, when you show the plan enough, you get to read people well. And you know if there's a little bit of something there. Mm-hmm. You know, and within, walking around in the background, he's told me since, like he felt there's something there, and he felt in his heart that I was interested. I was just playing it really cool. And he decided to leave the audios, thank goodness, because Ann listened to them and said, hey, what do you think, right? And she's going to tell you a little bit about that after. So he phones me up. This is 2 weeks later. He says, there's this info session. There's this great guy, this policeman. He's going to be up there. You'll probably identify with him. It ended up being Gary Coles. And he says, you might want to throw on a jacket. Probably most guys are going to be in a suit and a tie. I said, I don't think so. I'll be there, though. I put on like a mock turtleneck. And he said, hey, come on up to the front. And I said, no, I'll sit in the third row, thanks. All straight up, that's exactly what happened. He sat in the third row with me, and I would not sit in the front row. If I could, I would sit in the back with my back against the wall. That was me. Anyways, I ended up seeing this Gary Coles guy up there. I see a bunch of people that are successful, and they're like happy. They just reached these new levels. They're whatever, 12%. I have zero idea what all that is. But they're saying they're doctors, they're lawyers, they're airplane people, they're school teachers to students. And there's a lot of people, and I'm thinking, okay, this is weird. I don't really like this situation. I'm not comfortable necessarily here, but they didn't bring them all here to trick Wil Wright.
Yeah, that's right.
They just didn't, right? I have no money, right? I have a rusty car, and I'm ornery. I didn't want to put a suit on and sit in the row with the guy who's trying to help me. Anyways, yeah, so I started to see maybe something. But still, it wasn't for me. I came home, and you can tell that part.
He comes home, and he's like, I don't know, everybody was really happy, and they're jumping around on this stage. It was really weird. And I'm like, well, you know what, Will, maybe if we were making a lot of money, we'd be happy and jumping around too. Maybe they're jumping around because they're all making a lot of money. I wasn't there, but I'm thinking it just makes common sense. Always looking on the bright side. So he's like, oh, okay, maybe. So we did end up doing the follow-up.
She was even worse. She said, well, what's your big idea?
Oh, yeah, I did. So, yeah, so what you know.
Do you know?
It's true. So we did book the follow-up. And I don't think I was really there for the follow-up either. So I wasn't any better than him. But he was there. He had just got off work, and he had his gun on, right? And he's sitting there. I remember walking by, and Ron's doing the follow-up, and Will's like, the gun is showing. And I'm like,
I didn't do it on purpose.
I don't know. Maybe he didn't do it on purpose.
No, I didn't.
No. He was very comfortable wearing that thing. And he had a full pages of notes, right? Like he wanted to know all these things. Like, what was the one thing he asked him about? Why is Amway making you pay when you're going to be selling their products?
Yeah. I said, I don't get why there's this registration thing when they're asking me to sell their products. Why do I have to pay? Remember, I'm thinking like an employee. You supply the boots, you supply the gun belt. Okay, I'm going to, do Amway. Why do I have to pay money? And why don't you supply me with this stuff so I can go sell it? I, of course, missed the whole picture, missed everything, and Ron's amazing. Yeah. It's an interesting question. But
when we did decide we were going to do it, we couldn't even start because we didn't even have enough money, Mrs. and Mr. asking all these questions.
Stick the knife in my back now.
So we're like, okay, we'll get started, but we got to wait till payday. Which is fine. Many of people that you show the plan to don't have the money right now, and that's okay. You know, Ron just made a plan for us to get started. And once we did, like, things really got started. We thought, okay, you know what? We like this idea. We understood from the jobs that we were in that there is steps that you need to do, right? So we're like, okay, give us the steps. And one of them, as I said, was a beauty break. Carol came over in my upline and she gave me a beauty break. Oh my goodness, this stuff is amazing. Like, I don't even, at that time, here's what I was doing for skincare. Chamomile tea bags and water. That was my skincare routine. I had super, super hypersensitive skin, and my dermatologist said, well, I guess, you know, if your skin will tolerate, chamomile tea is good. So I literally was, that was my skincare routine. So I was a hard sell. Like, I was not a skincare person whatsoever. But when she told me what I said earlier, that, Anne, you're going to have women that do use skincare, and you're going to have to know. And I understood that if I'm going to do this, I have to know what I'm doing. So, you know, why not? I'll try it. I absolutely love the products and just went from there. We started ordering. We asked our family to help us because, again, we weren't going to do 100 points ourselves. We just bought the kit, right? We don't have extra money to do the points. But we called up family. We called up friends. And they were like, yeah, sure, I'll buy a box of soap. Yeah, sure, I'll buy this. And we did our 100 points that first month. And then the second month, we did our 100 points again. And we just figured out a way to do it because we understood the importance of that. We understood that if we're going to be in business, we got to try and use and sell our products. So it was fun. We just did it. And it was kind of really interesting to see how it all unfolded. We got our little check. Things started working the way that that they said it would. And then, of course, we had to start showing the plan and having house meetings. And I always think that's so much fun because you go back and you look at some of the things and tell them about the one with the eggs.
I'm going to tell two stories.
Okay, go ahead.
So one is my journey with Gary and Kimberly. Remember I told you about the info session we went to, and I sat in the third row. Ron finally booked the follow-up, and then we got registered, like Ann said. At the follow-up, I said, hey, Ron, no offense, but that Gary was the guy going across the stage. It makes more sense to me that I should be talking to him. I know, like, you're doing okay, I guess, but yeah. So I don't know how God's favor shone down on me, but I don't know. But he said, and it was a week later or something, yeah, Gary's going to meet you. And that's where it started with Gary and Kim. And I'll tell you what, it's been a blessing ever since. It's amazing, right? Through all the silly things that I did, you know, that he had patience enough and there was something overlooking to say, hey, man, that's okay. And so I'll tell you the story about meeting Gary. So Ron had somehow set it up, and Gary says, yeah, I'll meet you. Graciously, he did. Like, I didn't know that he's like an emerald, and I don't know any of this stuff. I'm like, he's already gone through the trenches, and here's this. I just thought, plan A, I have a connection because I'm a policeman, right? It was innocent enough, right? But I met him out near us, Sherway Gardens. There was a coffee time out there. This is what, you know, your upline can do for you. I showed up there, very happy to go see the guy, but Gary, I'll tell you what, if you're not feeling blessed by Gary and Kim, you need to be. They're amazing. Amazing. I show up, Gary's already there ahead of time. Yep, of course, right? Well, but yes, of course. Right? Don't take that for granted, but it is of course, but yeah, thank God. He's there ahead of time, he's got his pad out, he's got his, at that time we wore a shirt and a red tie. He didn't have the jacket on, he had the on the back of his chair. There's a red Cadillac out front, shining like anything else, of course. But yeah, that's Gary Coles. Efficient, he's there, he's going to follow through, he's going to be a man of his word. Show up, he's got his pad of paper there, graciously allows me to sit down, start talking. I'm telling him, you know, of course, all my vision of how this thing can work. What an idiot. You know, yeah, I haven't showed one plan. Have you ever had people like that? Yeah. Be patient, okay? Be patient. Anyways, he says, absolutely, man, we're glad to have you on the team. He says, but to be honest with you, I need you like I need a hole in the head. Things are going great. But Ron's a great guy. He edified his upline. Till the cows came home, and he said, I'll tell you what, come on out to my car. I went up to the car. He opens up the trunk. He's got audios, books, woo! He's got like a store in there, right? He is trunked. And he gave me what, would be the equivalent of, I don't know.
Our Evites, but.
Our Evites, but it was an audio. It was actually a cassette and a brochure and a pamphlet. He's got like 30 of them in a box, let alone everything else he's got in there. And he said, these, I want you to go give them away, tell people you want to get them back, get a result, and I'll tell you what, you go 2,500 points and we'll start talking. But I want you to start using these, and if I don't get them back, I'm going to bill you for them. That made sense to me. I tell you what, I went out, I told Ron, he says, absolutely, that's what we're going to do. We started to plug in, I started giving those things out, the Evites, right? If someone says no, so what? Next one, I go grab it back. I was making appointments left, right, and center because he wasn't afraid to invest because, you know what? When you show the plan to somebody who's going to go 25%, are you ready? All right? From the very beginning, people are watching what you do. You're teaching them from day one. He taught me the right way. And then him and Kimberly showed up at the house, helped Ann and I. Yeah. I remember them walking up the stairs. I remember he was wearing cowboy boots. I remember he was wearing jeans. I don't remember what you're wearing, sorry. I was looking at his shoes. That sounds silly. Huh. Go figure. I like shoes. You know what? Where was I going? What's the second story? Oh, the eggs. Okay, so Gary helps me register one of my best buddies, right? He gets involved. He's got a great wife. They're real nice people. He worked with the police department with them. He was a dispatcher. And they get started. Now, he's a fairly, think I'm sexy guy.
Yeah. And influenced by others a bit more than we would be. Care about what people think, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, that would be a good way to nicely put it. So, so they get going, and of course, he's got more opinions than I ever had. I'll tell you what got them out. It's amazing what hill people decide to die on. It's amazing. They give us a call, and they say, guys,
we were at their house to do a house meeting. And so we're there. And I don't know if in the suburbs, but in our suburbs, a lot of times kids will egg your house. Does that happen to anybody else? They'll just come by and throw eggs at your house. So we're doing a house meeting, and these kids come by and they egged the house. And the wife's like, oh, somebody egged our house. Do you think it's because they don't like Amway and they know that we're in? Oh my goodness, maybe we've made a mistake. Maybe somebody told them. We're like,
yeah, that's it.
Seriously? Any excuse will do.
They quit. Seriously.
Not necessarily over that, but it was just downhill after that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and then another. I forgot to tell you this. As I was thinking about this, he said to me one day after he quit, and we were having a coffee or something. He said, and another sign might have been. He said that toilet paper roll was way too big for our dispensary. He goes, maybe that was a clue. A bit tongue-in-cheek, but, really. I guess, that's a sign.
Yeah.
I guess you don't want you to dream big enough. But, those are fun little stories along the way. But we ended up registering some amazing people, that are still with us today and going and growing. And, our first check was $7.56. But we were fired up about that. We photocopied that, and I carried it with me. We had that silly Ford Taurus wagon. Half the time, honestly, I couldn't go to a plan because Ann needed it to do other things that were important with the family, and Ron, our sponsor, had to pick me up. You just make it work. If you are on a subway line, you can go show the plan. You don't have to have a fancy car to show the plan. I would park that car down the street. If I was working in depth somewhere and they got me to somebody I thought was my level and above, I would park nowhere near their house. I would park down the street. I looked good. I had my suit on. I learned from Gary, and it was sharp, and I had a red tie, and I was ready to go. And I was trunked, but I'll tell you, my car was not, I didn't look like I could help the guy make money, but I knew I could, and my eyes showed it. Right? I was eating audios. I became an audio. Ann was listening to audios. Ann could quote stuff. Our kids were singing the songs. You know what? We got all in. And when you get all in, it's not, you can make more than $300. Have you ever looked at that compensation plan, really? And the new thing, the incentive brochure, there's a lot of money on the table, right?
Yep.
You know, so we had some people get in and out, you know, hey, but we decided we're not quitting. We decided that. Yes.
We did decide, and our team did start growing, and it was fun. Like, some came, some went, but things started moving, and we were excited because we could see different teams were going up the chart as well, which were helping us go up the chart, and it got to be like quite an exciting time. When we first started on Friday, people would come and pick up their products, and so Friday afternoon at our place, we had young teams, and this is what I love. We had the 60-year-olds that registered us, the 30-year-olds, and we had 20-year-olds on our team. And they were out front playing badminton, waiting to get their products. They were throwing a car, you know, because we were right in the city. And we had people kind of next picking up their stuff. And we still do that. We still love to help people get their products. It's not just about ordering online. But it was teamwork, and we made it fun. And, you know, so what, you had to wait a little bit for your products. Here, grab a ball and go play outside. And we started having matches and stuff. And we still do that to this day. We still think it's really important to have fun, right? Like, who wants to really have another business? Have fun with your teammates. Make this business something that is going to be something they want to do and that they have fun doing. And I still remember that. I still remember looking out front. I'm like trying to get products. I see people playing and throwing the ball around and stuff. So, you know, we got started, and that's all we did. We just thought, let's have a good, fun time and move a lot of product. And we did do that. And we started making our way up the chart, and the team continued growing. And then, of course, we started bringing more people to the functions, right? The first one started, it was just Wil and one IBO. And they kind of just did a all-nighter. They worked and they went to the function. But after a while, we had carfuls. We started renting a van or filling up a van. And it was not about the trip, guys. It was about what we were going to get fed when we got there. That was what everybody was excited about. And it's all in the promotion. We promoted, let's go, it's going to be fun. And was it like a highfalutin time? No way. We had like sandwiches. Okay, here's the trick. We had a room with 2 double beds, then you took the top mattress off, put that on the floor, and then just put sleeping bags on the other. Now you had room for 4 beds. And then you had people bring their sleeping bags. And I'm not saying that, you know, oh yeah, you got to go put 10 people in a room, but we had fun putting 10 people in a room.
Yeah, well, the point is, the point for me, so I wasn't saying you weren't making a point. That's not what I meant.
I know.
Yeah, okay. That's right. Everyone get that. The thought behind that is, look, people say, oh, I don't have enough cash. Okay, I get you don't have enough cash for a hotel room. But if you can get even if it's one other person in the hotel room with you, and you don't spend money on food and you make sandwiches ahead, my goodness, we got food bars, we got enough food in our business that can up your PV and feed you for the weekend, right? We just said, we're in, right? Gary and Kim promoted the heck out of it, and we knew it was important, and we wanted to go where they were. And we started going.
Absolutely, and that's the key. It was the promotion. Our promotion got people there, and then the function got them back there, right? So it's up to you to get the people there and then let the MMP functions have them continue to go. So, and again, like, we were there with, age didn't matter. Right? 60, 30, 20-year-olds, we were all having a blast. We were all moving forward. We were all trying to get in that front row. Man, we had a plan. We were sitting in the front row, right? Why spend all that time and money to get somewhere and not sit in the front row? That doesn't make sense. So it was always a really, really good time. But then, of course, we hit 7500. Woohoo! We did that after a year and a half, right? We weren't like speedy, but that's good. 7,500 after a year and a half. We were so excited until the next month when we dropped down. We didn't do it again the next month. And you know, some people were... Are you going to tell them why? I'll let you tell them why. That might have disappointed some people. And there were people that I could see were now like, doubt. But you know what? We thought... No way, man. We got to keep going, and we did. And I still remember being in that that function room with looked like there was cups upside down on the wall. It was really, really neat. And I remember at that time, if you reached a new level, you got to stand up and say that you reached the level. And so we had a lot of teammates there. And of course, nobody really knew. And we stood up and we said, we're Wil and Wright from Toronto and we're new golds. And people were like, they did it. Like they got back and they did it. And the people who were maybe a little bit disappointed, a little bit doubtful, you could see the life go back in their eyes. And they started working again. And guys, you cannot give up. You cannot get disappointed because it does affect everybody else. And it's going to make all of us go forward. So, but yeah, there was a reason why we didn't hold it. And it was pretty funny. I'll let Wil tell you.
We were jacked up and excited to get to 25%, but it was it was fun, but it was interesting. A guy got on our team in depth, out in Whitby, and the guy, so that's east of Toronto, and he was a plumber, and he had an ability to move E-springs. So we had a lot of volume. We were getting close. This guy got on the team. He was able to move a few E-springs, and boom, we got 25%. Little did we know he was also very good at distribution in the cocaine field. He understood distribution really well, and the next month he was gone. Right? I don't know if he got arrested. I think it was he got arrested. Anyways, yeah, it was unbelievable. It was like, holy smokes. No wonder he bought all those E-springs. I don't, where did all that go? So I'll tell you what, it was hilarious, but it was like a big hit at the same time. And, it's an interesting story in kind of the ebbs and flows of how things go, because we're just like you. You reach things and you might fall back. The goal is not to, but the majority of people have a business that ebbs and flows. Just continue to work to Premier 653 and beyond. Go 12, right? Go and grow and get enough width appropriately, communicate with your upline. But I'll tell you what, there's going to be places where you feel like, crap, we got up and said, hey, we're 25%, and then we weren't, so that wasn't exciting. But we did go gold. We said we're in thick or thin, and we're going to go. I just need to show more plans, show more plans, show more plans. There's a secret to everything in this business, which is STP. Show the plan, show the plan, show the plan. He shows the plan the most wins. And Ann would kick me out the door. I'll tell you what, we were going to go marker man one way or another. I remember one month I was like 3 short. And I'd heard somewhere you can just go to the neighbor and say, hey, I have to show them a presentation for a new business I'm working at. It might not be for you, but you want to sit down so I can practice. Hey, it might be for you, but would you mind doing that for me so I can hit a goal in my business? I did that. I went knocked on I would go to Tim Hortons and say, hey, the same thing. Hey, listen, you don't know me, I don't know you, but I'm working on a new business presentation for my business that I'm expanding. It might not be for you, probably isn't, but you never know. Do you mind if I practice on you? It's going to take about 15, 20 minutes. Right? Look, I'm going to win. I'm not going down. Don't go down. Just be creative. Figure out a way, right? And because I'll tell you the real reason, I wasn't coming home to Ann at the end of the month and saying, we're not marker man. I did have a little bit of other reason, but you have to have your internal test fortitude, right? How come? How come you have that picture, right? And we'd gone, one of the things I wanted was my own car. That would have been good. But about 2,500 points, we ended up getting another car. You see Gary where he is now. You see us now, for those of you that work with us, all that kind of stuff. But I'm telling you, a Ford Taurus station wagon and no other, taking the subway to work. At 2,500 points, we'd make it a little bit of profit. I had enough money to get a second car. I don't have a lot of money to get a second car. Anyone familiar with a Volkswagen Scirocco? Yeah, a five-speed, no air conditioning, but it had a sunroof. One of the guys at work had lived in a condo. He was trading up. It needed work, had no rust, and I bought it for $500. Yeah, I bought a Volkswagen Scirocco, then I put $1,500 into a tie rod and front end work and a new set of tires. And I drove that to platinum, right? And I was going to tell you the story behind that. I wanted to buy something more than that. And Gary would never tell me not to do something. But he said, hey, you might want to think about, And investing your money somewhere else in your business, because I'm telling you what, Will, the look of the car isn't what's going to make people get in your business. Yeah. Period. Doesn't matter what you show up in. It matters what you show up in your heart and what's in your eyes and what you tell them and how you feel about it, right? It doesn't matter the drive. Like, it just show up, just show the plan, right? But that was fun. I mean, Ann would do product with, again, like we're old, but we would do product pickup, and she would have the kids in the car, and we'd go pick up stuff, and Ann was like the delivery machine. We still do that today. I'm telling you what, don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. You know, I know it's an online business and people can order on their own and their credit card. You know what? Some people might not have that. Are you willing to drive to their house and deliver your XX? Go ahead.
That's right. And I just was reminded the other day, because I didn't even remember this, that I took the car and I drove down to where one of our IBOs was doing a pay duty. And literally I kind of slowed down and I'm like, here, sign this, because he wanted to reach a level and he knew he could do it by ordering one more product, which was going to go on financing. And back then you had to sign the form. So he's like, I'm doing this traffic, and you pulled up and you're like, here, sign this. We're going to do it. And he signed it and we went home, and he went 1,000 PV that month. And he never forgot that. And I was like, oh my goodness, I don't even remember doing that. He's like, yeah, you pulled up and you're like, you know, we were hell. And we did. So it was just so many fun times, and we still have those fun times to this day, but we don't have a lot of time. But we really did want to touch on Q12. Those are the trips that this business they start on. They're not the best trips. You can go to Diamond Club and you can go to many others, but boy, oh boy, what a great first trip, other than Platinum. Of course, people in this room have been to the Platinum seminar, and those are fun as well. But we have been able to beat a Q12. We have been able to get the $15,000 checks. We've been able to do so many things because of this business, because I'm telling you, if you need something, you just need to put it up there, figure out how much it's going to cost, and then use your business to get that. And we have done that in many areas of our life, and used this business to make sure that we have what we're looking for. And you have that ability as well. But Q12 is a blast. The food is amazing. And I always say this, many people in this room have gone to the places that we've gone. You've gone to Vegas, you've gone to Disney, you've gone to Miami, but you have never been there the way that we go as Amway IBOs. And I think that you will know that when you go. The presence, just the way that they make you feel, the things that they give you there while you're there, and just knowing that you look around and it's like, oh my goodness, there's a lot of people that are here, and we get so excited to come home and help more of you to get there. So don't forget, like, if you don't go 7,500 September, just rejig it for Sapphire in March, right? Okay, everybody? So we'll all go to San Diego together and forward. But anyway, you tell about the trips. What you like?
Yeah, you know what, I told you in the beginning, we got started for another $1,500, really. Yeah. I didn't care about all that. I didn't want to leave my job. I didn't want to leave policing. But you know what, we got to 25%, and we started to make enough money. Not that it replaced Ann's Revenue Canada Customs income, but it was enough that she didn't have to go back to work. That was a huge win. Where else can that happen? And I didn't have to work harder. I was starting to work less. Ann stayed home. I started to work less.
We got a second car.
I got a $500 Scirocco, but I had a second car. It was awesome, though. That was fun. You know what? One of our first teams was way out in Beamsville, and then down to Welland. Who goes to Welland? But I did, right? Don't ever register. Someone from Welland here? It's an interesting journey to go down there, and we had a lot of fun. It was like I was going building. Gary was helping in some other teams, right? And I'll tell you what, I took that Scirocco, I took that everywhere. I drove that 5-speed, I drove the out of it, and it didn't matter. Gary was 100% right. You know what? And we got that to 25%, so we could go, and we started seeing, you know what? Wow, if Ann could stay home, maybe I can adjust a few things. Hey, maybe this generational thing with our kids getting involved in the business, hey, maybe that's even something, you know what? But initially, it's just the little things. But I'll tell you what, today, our son's sitting right over there. It's gone 12%, right? Right on. Right on. It's, you know what? Who knows? I'll tell you what, if you don't quit, it's amazing what'll happen. Don't quit. I know how the story ends. The compounding, you don't want 1 + 1, you want 10 + 10, right? You just don't stop, show the plan. Get your dream up there. And you know what, Q12, it would be great with everybody here. It's great with Gary. Tell you what, we went to Las Vegas. I love motorcycles. As Gary told you, he loves motorcycles. We rented Harley Davidsons out there, and we had our Kim and Ann on the back. And Ann would have drove. She just doesn't have a motorcycle license. But, we had full dress Harley Davidsons, top of the line, brand new stuff. They make you drive around a few cones, and they give you a helmet and say, go for it. And we went out to the Valley of Fire in the middle of the desert in Las Vegas. I'm telling you, I had no interest in the desert, seriously.
It's beautiful.
I had no interest in Las Vegas. But when they're paying and they're giving me, that time it was 10 grand, and all expenses paid, they're flying you out. You don't touch your bags. They give you presents. They feed you like the best. I thought, okay, yeah, no, I'm in. Okay, yeah. So we went. Gary, he's got everything lined up. He's got the Harleys ready. He says, here's what we got to do. Check. We had them for 24 hours. We pulled in those Harleys into the lobby of the Bellagio. That was awesome. And it was an underground, like not underground, but they didn't valet them, but there was an override, so they really echoed in there is my point, right? That was a blast. That was just a blast. So when we go to the Valley of Fire, I fell in love with the desert. It's amazing.
Beautiful.
The Valley of Fire is just it's outside of Las Vegas. You go up this big hill and you go out and you keep riding. It's like desert, it's like flat, and then pull into this place. And if you've seen those red rocks, go search Valley of Fire. It's called the Valley of Fire because those red sand rocks when the sun's on them, they're just like brilliant red, like just amazing. When you go just down these twisty things and you go, oh my goodness, this is amazing. This is wow, this is unbelievable with our music going, right? And then we stopped for lunch. It was a warm breeze. It was okay, we made it. Yep. We had the cocaine dealer. We had the egg quitter. We had everything else in between, honestly. Everything else in between, but it's part of the story. It's part of the dream. It's part of the, wow, what an experience, right? Right? Policing's exciting, but Plan B's exciting. It really is. And when it starts to work for you, it's going to kick in. You just don't know who you're going to register tomorrow. You know what? I had no idea of the people that I would fall in love with that are on our team today. Yep. I just wanted the money. Yep. That's it. But it turns out tomorrow, and you're brand new, you just want the money. I get that. But the money is going to come. Just do the activity, That was Las Vegas. Disney with the kids. Wow.
It was fun.
We've told the story. We've gone there a couple times, but, they weren't there at ages 4, 5, 6, little kids. I think Andrew was 16 the first time we went. That was the youngest. But still, he loved, Buck Rogers, or Buck Rogers. Buzz Lightyear. Buck Rogers is from an old police video.
Is it?
No, that's Buck Savage. J.D. Buck Savage. Anyways, Buck Rogers is from one of my dad's thing. Yeah, that's right. A radio thing. Sidetracked. Yeah. It doesn't. Yeah. We can. Yeah. Okay. Yep. So, where was I?
Just how much different it is to travel with the Amway Corporation, and how, not only with the Amway Corporation, because you're there with your MMP leaders. That's key, guys, just to be able to go and hang out with them and just to see that, we're all there together. And we just want more of this room to be there because MMP Canada is special. I think everybody in this room is special, and we deserve to be on that stage more. I think we deserve to be on the trips more. And we're all so close. We just need to tweak a little thing. And I think if everybody in here just went home tonight and thought, okay, what do I need to tweak just a little bit? What do I need to do different? And then just keep doing it, guys. Don't give up. And just keep dreaming and keep imagining your kids there. Because it doesn't matter how old they are. I'm telling you, they become kids again once you arrive.
They do. And so did we.
It's Disney. And, it's Vegas this year. It's San Diego next year. And then it's probably Disney again. But I would not wait for Disney. I would go for the gusto. Do what you can now so that by the time those trips come around, it's a shoo-in. Not only are you going to go, you're going to be bringing people with you, right?
Yeah, no dream's too big.
Yeah.
put it up there, put it in front of you, and start running. Right, the compensation plan will pay you. There's nothing too big. Start with a little one. Reward yourself. Get something small so you know, yeah, I can do it. And you can get a $500 Scirocco. Then can you get something bigger? Then can you get the car of your dreams? Sure. Because it's just more of the same. This business isn't complicated. It's just doing the same thing over and over again and meeting great people. So we love you guys. We know you're capable. We know we're going to see you in Q12. It's just going to be a blast. We're going to live our dreams. We are. Plan B is going to provide them and surrounded with MMP. It's awesome. Take care.
This is a copyrighted program of Markerman Productions, affiliated with MarkerNet Incorporated. Duplication of this program is strictly prohibited. For existing IBOs only, not for use with prospects. While the techniques and approaches suggested have worked for others, no one can guarantee that these techniques and approaches will work for you. In addition, we want to emphasize that success in this business does not come without hard work. The success depicted on this profile may reflect income from sources other than Amway, such as earnings from the sale of training and educational materials or other businesses and investments.